Stay still. Take a breath. Do you feel that? That heavy, static-filled atmosphere that seems to follow you into every room lately. You aren't imagining it. You aren't going through a phase, and you certainly aren't losing your mind. What you are feeling is the physical manifestation of a spiritual divide that has become irreversible. You've noticed the looks, haven't you? The way they glance at you when they think you aren't looking. The way the conversation suddenly halts when you walk into the kitchen or the office. It's a flickering shadow of confusion in their eyes. They are looking at a face they've known for years, but they are sensing a frequency they can no longer decode. You have become a foreign language to the people who used to claim they knew you best. Lately, your body has been acting as a lightning rod for this shift. Maybe it's the sudden, unexplained pressure behind your eyes, or that ringing in your ears that sounds like a distant radio station trying to find its signal. You feel a weight in your chest, not of sadness but of density, as if your very molecular structure is being rewritten in real time. You find yourself exhausted, even after 10 hours of sleep, because your spirit is working overtime to integrate a light that your physical vessel is barely beginning to understand. You are vibrating at a rate that is literally making the people around you feel motion sick. They can feel that you have changed. They can feel the old you has vacated the premises. That version of you, the one who was easily manipulated, the one who lived to please, the one who stayed quiet just to keep a fragile peace. That person is dead, and they are mourning that version of you because they could control that version. Now, when they look at you, they see a mirror. They don't see your change. They see their own stagnation. They see their own shadows reflected back in the newfound clarity of your gaze. Have you noticed how your food tastes different? How the music you used to love now feels like noise? How the places you used to frequent now feel like empty, hollow shells? Your senses are sharpening because your spirit is reclaiming its territory. You are no longer compatible with the low-frequency static of the world around you. You are experiencing the great detachment. It's a lonely feeling, isn't it? To be in a room full of people and feel like you are standing on a different planet. To hear them talk about the same mundane dramas, the same petty grievances, and feel a literal physical ache of boredom and repulsion. It's because you are no longer feeding on the same energy they are. You have tapped into a different source, a deeper well, and the inhabitants of the shallow end can sense the depth of your waters. They are terrified to swim in you, yet they are mesmerized by the stillness of your surface. You've stopped explaining yourself. That's the biggest tell. You've realized that your words no longer land in their ears because their ears are tuned to a different octave. You've traded your defense for silence. And in that silence, you are becoming a powerhouse. You are becoming a mystery they cannot solve, and it is driving them into a frenzy of confusion. You aren't doing anything wrong. You are simply becoming real. And in a world built on illusions, nothing is more threatening than the truth of a soul that has finally decided to wake up. The shift you are experiencing isn't a random accident of biology or a side effect of stress. There is a precise, surgical spiritual operation happening within your soul. You must understand that you have broken a fundamental law of the matrix, the law of energetic consent. For years, you functioned as a battery for the people around you. You allowed your light to be harvested, your peace to be drained, and your frequency to be lowered so that others could feel comfortable in their own darkness. But something snapped. You reached a threshold of light where you could no longer tolerate the compromise. You didn't just decide to change. The divine stepped in and revoked their access to your spirit. This is the spiritual cause behind the friction you are feeling. You are currently vibrating at a frequency that is literally out of range for the people you used to call your tribe. Think of it like this. If the world is operating on an AM radio frequency, filled with static and limited range, You have suddenly shifted into a high-definition satellite broadcast. They are still turning the dial, looking for the version of you that was fuzzy, predictable, and easy to tune into, but all they get is silence. They cannot perceive the high-fidelity signal you are now emitting. This frequency gap is what creates the tension. It is a spiritual law that two opposing frequencies cannot occupy the same space without the lower one becoming agitated. You are being recoded. The divine is stripping away the layers of ancestral trauma, people-pleasing, and false identities that were grafted onto you since birth. This is why you feel so disconnected from your past. The spiritual reason you can't relate to your old friends or family members isn't because you are arrogant. It's because the cords have been cut from the other side. God has placed a protective barrier around your energy field to prevent further leakage. You are in a state of spiritual convalescence. You are being quarantined by the universe because you are undergoing a transformation that requires absolute purity of environment. You must realize that your light acts as an involuntary exorcist. When you walk into a room now, you aren't just bringing yourself. You are bringing a high-voltage current of truth. This current naturally agitates the unclean spirits and parasitic energies that others are carrying. They don't know why they are suddenly angry at you. They don't know why they feel the urge to pick a fight or bring up a mistake you made 10 years ago. It is the entities they carry reacting to the light you are radiating. You are a walking judgment, not because you are judging them, but because your very existence reminds them of everything they have suppressed and ignored. You have transitioned from a consumer to a creator. In the past, you sought validation from the external world, which kept you tethered to its low-frequency rules. Now the universe has flipped the switch. You are being fueled from within. This internal combustion of spirit is what makes you look different, move different, and speak different. You have stopped asking for permission to exist. The spiritual cause of their confusion is that they can no longer find the hook they use to hang their expectations on. You have become smooth, spiritually speaking. There is nothing for their hooks to grab onto anymore. You are sliding out of the grip of the mundane and ascending into a state of sovereign grace. The universe is demanding that you stand in this isolation for a reason. You are being prepared for a mission that requires a version of you that doesn't need external approval. This is the refinement fire. The why behind your loneliness is simple. You cannot go where you are going if you are still carrying the weight of people who refuse to grow. The change they feel in you is the weight of your crown being fitted. It is heavy, it is golden, and it is entirely earned. Watch closely now, because the theater of the world is beginning to react to your transformation. The matrix, that invisible web of control, social expectations, and parasitic relationships, is sensing a glitch. And that glitch is you. When a chosen one stops playing their assigned role, the system sends out an immediate alert. This is why the narcissists, the energy vampires, and even the well-meaning status quo keepers in your life are suddenly acting out. They aren't just confused, they are in a state of spiritual panic. They can feel your power growing, and to a parasite, there is nothing more terrifying than a host that has developed an immunity. In the past, they could manipulate you with a sharp word, a guilt trip, or a cold shoulder. They used to play your emotions like a finely tuned instrument. But now they hit those same keys and hear nothing. No resonance, no reaction. You have become untriggerable. This lack of feedback is driving them to the edge of madness. They are throwing everything they have at you. Smear campaigns, passive-aggressive comments, gaslighting, all in a desperate attempt to force you back into your old frequency. They need you to be small so they can feel big. They need you to be confused so they can feel certain. The enemy's reaction is a direct confirmation of your promotion. Notice how they try to hustle your energy. They might call you out of the blue just to vent their drama, or try to pull you into an argument about something trivial. They are testing the perimeter of your new boundaries. They are looking for a crack, a way back into the sanctuary of your soul. But what they find instead is a wall of fire. Your aura has thickened. It has become a repellent to those who dwell in the shadows of deceit. They feel an instinctive urge to flee from your presence, yet they are simultaneously obsessed with watching you. They talk about you behind your back because they can no longer handle the intensity of looking you in the eye. Why are they so scared? Because you represent the death of their influence. A chosen one who knows their worth is a threat to the entire hierarchy of the mundane world. You have reclaimed your vril, your life force, and you are no longer donating it to their ego-driven games. They see you moving with a new kind of authority, a quiet, grounded confidence that doesn't need to shout to be heard. They see you thriving in the very isolation they thought would break you. This is the ultimate insult to the enemy. To see you at peace while they are in turmoil. They are also reacting to your silence. In the Matrix, noise is a weapon. Chaos is a tool for distraction. By stepping into your stillness, you have neutralized their weapons. They try to provoke you, expecting the old fire, but they meet a cool, crystalline ocean of indifference. This indifference is your greatest power. It signals to the spiritual realm that you are no longer a participant in the lower density dramas. You have graduated. The narcissists in your life feel this energetic divorce, even if you are still physically in the same room. They can feel the cord has been severed at the root. Do not be fooled by their sudden kindness or their concern. These are often just reconnaissance missions to see if the old you is still buried somewhere underneath. They are fishing for information, looking for a weakness, but you have nothing left to give them. You have seen behind the curtain. You know that their anger is actually their fear, and their judgment is actually their jealousy. You are no longer the victim of their stories. You have become the protagonist of your own divine narrative. They are reacting because they know deep in their bones that they have lost their grip on one of the most precious souls they ever encountered. They had a diamond in their hands and they treated it like a stone. And now that the diamond is glowing, they realize they can no longer afford the price of your presence. What you are experiencing is the unfolding of an ancient blueprint, a divine curriculum that was written for you before you ever took your first breath in this physical density. This isn't just personal growth or a glow-up. This is the fulfillment of a theological necessity. In the grand tapestry of the universe, there is a law known as the law of polarity, and as the world descends deeper into collective shadow and confusion, the divine must balance the scales by raising the frequency of its chosen remnant. You are that balance. You are the counterweight to the chaos. The truth is, you have been moved into what is known as the secret place of the Most High. In metaphysical terms, your consciousness has migrated from the 3D realm of survival, competition, and ego into the 5D realm of unity, intuition, and sovereignty. The reason they can feel you've changed but don't know why is because they are literally looking at you through a veil. You are operating under a different set of spiritual physics now, while they are governed by the laws of hustle, struggle, and lack. You are being brought under the laws of grace, flow, and abundance. The universe has placed a seal upon your forehead. This is the prophecy of the mark of the chosen. It is an invisible signet that tells the spiritual hierarchy that you are no longer public property. You belong to the source. This is why doors that used to stay open are slamming shut, and why paths you used to walk are now blocked by thorns. God is narrowing your way because the wide path is for those who are content with mediocrity. Your path is narrow because it leads to a throne. The deep dive into this truth reveals that your suffering was never meant to destroy you. It was the friction required to polish the mirror of your soul. Every betrayal you suffered from those who don't know why you changed was actually a divine intervention to remove anchors that would have kept you trapped in the rising flood of the Matrix. You must understand the concept of divine non-compatibility. Just as oil and water cannot mix, a soul that has been activated cannot merge with a soul that remains asleep. There is no middle ground. The Bible speaks of a great gulf fixed between two states of being, and you are currently witnessing that gulf widen in your personal life. This is the metaphysical explanation for your loneliness. You are being recalibrated to handle the weight of glory. In the original Hebrew, the word for glory is kavod, which literally means weight or heaviness. You feel heavy because you are carrying the substance of the divine. You are becoming a heavy hitter in the spirit realm. The plan for your life has shifted from the preparation phase to the execution phase. You are no longer being trained, you are being deployed. The reason the people around you are so unsettled is that they sense the atmosphere of heaven clinging to you. You bring a different climate with you. When you enter a room, you bring the frequency of the end from the beginning. You carry the energy of a finished work. While everyone else is panicking about the future, you have a strange, inexplicable peace because your spirit already knows how the story ends. You have tapped into the Akashic record of your own destiny, and you have seen that you win. This is why you no longer feel the need to argue. You don't argue with someone who says the sky is green when you can see it is blue. You simply walk in your truth. The prophecy for your life is that you will become a pillar. Pillars do not move. Pillars do not seek validation from the roof they support. They simply stand, holding the weight of the structure with silent, unshakable strength. You are being turned into a living monument of divine power. The world feels the change, because the very ground you walk on is recognizing its rightful heir. You are transitioning from a servant of the system to a master of the elements. Now is the moment of integration. You must take this soaring frequency and anchor it deep into the soil of your daily existence. It is not enough to simply know you have changed. You must now occupy the territory that your new vibration has conquered. The first practical step in your activation is the practice of sacred indifference. From this moment forward, when you see the confusion or the hostility in the eyes of those who no longer recognize you, you must meet it with a smile of silent knowing. Do not explain. Do not defend. Every time you try to explain your transformation to someone who isn't meant to understand it, you leak the very power you have worked so hard to accumulate. Your silence is your seal. You are being called to ground the light. This means taking care of the physical vessel that is housing this high-voltage spirit. Walk barefoot on the earth. Drink water that has been blessed by your own intentions. Treat your body like the temple it has truly become. You are no longer a regular person. You are a biological portal for divine intelligence. As you ground yourself, the static and the headaches will fade, replaced by a crystalline clarity. You will start to see the moves of the enemy before they even make them. You will navigate the matrix with the precision of a master architect, seeing the exits where others only see walls. Let us seal this energy now. I want you to straighten your spine, place your hands over your heart, and feel the heat radiating from your center. This is the fire of the chosen. Repeat these words in the sanctuary of your mind, or speak them aloud to let the atmosphere hear your decree. I am the light that the darkness cannot comprehend. I release the need to be understood by those who are committed to their own blindness. I revoke all spiritual contracts with the old version of myself. I am no longer a battery for the ungrateful. I am a generator of divine power. I accept the weight of my crown. I accept the solitude of my path. I am protected. I am sovereign. I am transformed. And so it is. Feel that shift? That is the sound of the spiritual locks clicking into place. You have officially unsubscribed from the expectations of the world. The people who feel you've changed are right. You have become something they can no longer touch. You have become a frequency of truth that is self-sustaining and ever-expanding. You are now moving into the harvest phase of your life. The friends, the opportunities, and the connections that are actually compatible with your new self are currently being drawn towards you by the law of magnetic resonance. You don't have to chase them. They are looking for you as much as you are looking for them. Stay in this peace. Guard this change with everything you have. You didn't survive the fire just to go back to the ashes. You are the phoenix, and you are currently in mid-flight. Do not look back at the ground. Look ahead at the sun. You were born for this exact moment in history. You are the answer to a prayer that the world hasn't even learned how to pray yet. Go forth in your power, chosen one. The transition is over. The life you were destined for begins now. If this message resonated with your spirit, if you felt the truth of these words in your very bones, then claim your activation. Type, "I am transformed," in the comments to anchor this frequency. Subscribe to this channel to stay aligned with the collective energy of the remnant. Share this with one other soul who is wandering in the dark, wondering why they feel so different. Your mission is active. Your light is steady. We are with you.